Hello, 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 beautiful collective. Welcome into your reading today. It is 12:22 on the clock as I begin. That may be a relevant angel number for one of you, so you might want to look that up. I have a message coming through, but it's got some confliction because I'm not sure if it's going to be two messages, if there are two readings to be done, or if there's just one reading and it's got conflicting messages or energy or something like that. Anyhow, that energy has been coming through for the last 2 days. So we're going to get into it. Of course, if you are new to watching any kind of readings or listening to readings, use your discernment. Not every part of the story is going to be your story. Some of it is meant for other people. So if it doesn't resonate with you, don't force it to fit. Leave it for who that does belong to. All right. Hope you're having a marvelous day today, and that everything is going smoothly for you. It feels as though there may be some hiccups happening right now in the collective energetically, which then translates to physically. So we're going to see what this energy is all about. I have a real mix mash of cards that I've pulled, decks that I've pulled, that I've been asked to pull. A little bit confusing again, as to which decks are going to be called on, or they just don't seem to really go together as well as some of the other um selections that they've asked me to pull before. So I don't know. It might be some light and some darkness. My candle keeps moving. So yeah, I did receive that there may be something exciting coming up or coming into your life. And I also received some messages about maybe some karmics or some karmic lessons or energy, or I'm not sure. I didn't really tap too deeply into it, but I am going to get started and see where they would like me to begin. All right, thank you, Holy Spirit, for presiding over this reading today for the collective. And which deck would you like me to start with? Oh, okay, something a little bit different. We're going to start with the Shaman's Dream Oracle. I've already pre-shuffled all of my cards as per usual. Yeah, and called upon all of your holy ancestors and your guardian angels and ascended masters, your Holy Spirit team, as well as my own, of course. I work very closely with the guardian angels while I do readings. Keeps me protected energetically, emotionally, spiritually. But I also work with my spirit team. All right, what do we have here? So we've got horned cactus, resourcefulness, me talks, repairing the body, mind, and spirit. And then we've got jeweled web connectivity. Okay. And that's in reverse. So I'll show you the cards before I start channeling, because how I do on this channel. I get channeling and I like to have the cards kind of facing me for a bit as I tap into their energies. Me talks. As I was shuffling this deck, this was in at the cut when I cut the deck. So I'm not overly surprised that that came through. And then jeweled web came through in reverse. All right, Holy Spirit, what would you like to channel through here for the collective regarding these cards here? Yeah, okay. So the first message that I'm receiving is that there is a need at this time to slow down. So this might be that confliction, that confusion that I've been picking up on in the collective, that it's like two parts of you are colliding with each other and you're struggling to integrate both aspects. So this may be shadow and light. This may be with regards to something you're trying to move forward into. There may be some protective mechanisms. I'm seeing this horned cactus, but it's also a cactus, right? It's got all these thorns, and it's got this armor to protect the goodness that is within it. So there may be some protective mechanisms coming up right now that are protecting some aspect of your innocence, your inner child, or protecting, yeah, protecting your inner child, but it is coming in the form of your ego possibly stepping in to protect. So you can see that as shadow, or you can see that as your ego. Um, but what that is doing is you're trying to, from what I'm gathering here, you're trying to connect to your higher self, or to receive the next step, or to receive guidance, or to hear your intuition, or there's some aspect um, of your abilities, of your connection to source that is currently being constrained, right? That is currently inaccessible, and that is because part of you wants to be there, wants to connect, but another part of you is bringing up all these protective mechanisms within you that are conflicting with what you desire, or, well, what you wish to follow through with, what you want to achieve, what you want to hear, how you would like to connect. And so there seems to be a need for you to slow down at this time. So what I'm hearing is that you're possibly not hearing or able to connect fully with your intuition, with your guides, because you are either moving too quickly, or your energy is not aligned, or there's confusion in your mind because of this confliction between the two aspects of self. So one part is aligned, and maybe mentally this is what you want, but there's something energetically or within you that is still needing to be reflected on, worked on, and aligned, because without that integration, without slowing down to actually assess what's going on within you, you're not going to be able to integrate it, because you're going to keep butting heads with your ego, I just heard. That's a good way of putting it. Thanks for that, Spirit. So yeah, there is a real need to slow down, to take some you time, some self-reflection. You can see in this one where she is letting go of these bubbles, and they each have, I don't know if it zooms in that well, but they each have little creatures in there. So it's almost as though she's giving birth to these ideas, to these creations, um, to new visions, to new manifestations. But what this connectivity in reverse tells me is that they're not coming forward because, again, you're coming up against your ego. You're coming up against some aspect of your shadow that needs to be seen, and that also needs to be reflected on, which can only happen if you slow down enough to allow yourself to do that, right? So this in itself can be causing some confusion as to why you're not hearing, why you're not receiving that message, why you're not um, getting clarity in your mind. And I feel like for some of you, you might have had some clarity and then it just disappeared. And this could be that other energy that I was picking up on, that there may be some projections coming your way right now. So these could be other people's desire for you not to succeed, for you not to have clarity, for you not to take the next step, for you not to leave, whether that's physically, whether that's emotionally or spiritually, energetically. A lot of the collective's been working on this kind of energy, on leaving and healing from it, and closing the door. And so there may be this projection coming your way. It could be felt by other people too. I mean, this could be family, this could be a partner, this could be work, it could be coworkers, it could be a whole bunch of things, or it could be all of the above, right? For each of you, it's going to be different. But this energy is projecting that that they don't want you to succeed, that they don't want you to be happy, that they don't want you to know the next step. So this is like a form of energetic um, well, I guess, energetic manipulation, if you want to call it that. It could be spell work. They could be speaking against you or talking, like slandering your name or slandering you. And this can cause that type of confusion, which is why you would need to be, feel as though you need to be self-protective, but you may not understand that this is coming from outside of you. This confusion itself, this energy is being projected onto you. And so there is a definite need to detox your energy, to cleanse yourself, to up your game in your spiritual hygiene. Maybe change what you're using for cleansing. So if you're, cleansing your home, because you don't just cleanse your body, right? You cleanse and protect your body, your energy. Um, you cleanse and protect your space, your property, your car, whatever you have in your possession or around you, you need to be cleansing, whether that's through energy, that is through, say you're using sage, maybe you want to switch to Palo Santo for a while, maybe you want to include special herbs. That you can burn when you're burning your sage to cleanse your space or your environment. Or maybe you want to call on your spirit team, the angels. Archangel Michael specifically is really good at helping to cut cords and to protect you, protect your home, protect your energy, as well as clearing out any energy, right? So I do get the feeling as though a lot of you feel as though this was coming from within you, which is what's causing this confliction, what's causing the confusion in your mind, right? But I feel as though, well, Spirit is saying like this is a projection coming from outside of you. And so there is a need for you to be very resourceful with your ability to cut that energy out, okay? And to transmute that energy, right? And it comes through upping that um spiritual cleansing, that emotional cleansing, whatever it is that you need to do while you're doing this me talks, like slowing down, taking some time with just you, and clearing out the energy, right? She's in a bathtub here, so maybe a spiritual bath would be beneficial for some of you, with Epsom salts and some specific herbs or flowers, or even essential oils, or maybe a shower where you have, um, allowing that water to cleanse you, right? So water is really important in this, I'm seeing, because what's within the cactus? Water. So there is a need to protect yourself emotionally as well as spiritually and energetically, but this is a way to come back into balance, into your emotional balance, which is just as important, I heard, as your mental balance. Okay. So one of these aspects is out of whack because the other one may be out of whack, but it's because of you making changes. You are upgrading, right? You are about to step through another threshold. You are about to step up, level up, however you'd like to put that. And because of this, more energy is going to be projected your way, which is going to cause either exhaustion or confusion or lethargy, right? Low energy. It's going to make things more challenging. And so, this is a time right now for you, collective, to make sure that you are taking extra time to feed yourself, to feed your soul, to feed your creativity, to expand yourself, to relax, whatever it is that you're requiring the most of, which you've not been taking time for, or possibly not taking enough time for, that's what you're being asked to do, while also protecting your energetic space, your emotional space, protecting it by cleansing yourself. And you already have a lot of these resources within you, even if you don't have access to, like, say, cleansing materials for smoking. You can go and pick wildflowers. You can go with intention. And I don't know, where I live, we have sage growing wildly, right? So you can use that, or you can just use water. Or if you don't have Epsom salts, you can actually use sea salt or Himalayan salt. I would advise against using table salt. That's not good for you anyhow, but I would advise against using that in your bathtub. But also, you can just use energy. You can call in the archangels, as your spiritual backup. And they are superpowers, right? Uh, and you can call them in to energetically clear the energy in your home, in your body. You can align your chakras if you have an idea of how energy works, you can cleanse and balance your own chakras. You can cleanse and balance your own energy. That's free. Use your resources that you currently have, and maybe what you have been doing, a little bit of change needs to happen in the order or possibly in how you're applying it or when you're applying it or what you're using to cleanse your energy, right? So a little bit of switch is like changing your routines and changing how you're doing things is going to be most beneficial at this time. And I also just heard be very aware of when your energy or your emotions, especially because we've got water in here, your emotions are starting to dip. Okay. And every time that you feel like you're going in the opposite direction or you're getting more emotional or you're starting to feel aggravated or not yourself, like anytime you feel that, be on it. Be on it immediately. Whether you just say a prayer quickly, Psalm 91 is really great for eliminating and banishing dark entities, dark forces. Um, and any attacks coming your way or projections coming your way. So you can use all kinds of different methods, and it doesn't require a lot of time. It doesn't require a lot of specific things, right? It can be free. And Psalm 91 is very, very helpful for that one. So if you find that all of a sudden your emotions change for no good reason, or something like you seem overly sensitive to something all of a sudden, whereas before you felt regulated and okay and balanced, then know that that is coming from somebody else, from other people. And these projections coming through are also trying to confuse you so that you stay stagnant, so that you don't actually move forward in your journey, that you don't actually take the next step. And so this is why it's going to be very important for you to be very hyper vigilant about your emotions and your energy, and to disconnect from those things as quickly as possible because you need that clarity, right? You need your connection to the divine, to your intuition, to your higher self in order to be guided into the next steps and to trust that, right? Because if all of a sudden you're receiving too many options and then it confuses you, or too many next steps, whereas you might have been clear before, and then all of a sudden all these other possibilities come up, then, this is designed in order to create chaos in your mind, which would then create chaos in your emotions, and a lack of faith or a lack of trust. And Spirit's coming through right now to say, hey, nothing has been broken here. There is no disconnection between the guidance that you're receiving and yourself. It's just that you are limiting yourself at this time because of possibly not being aware of how this energy is trying to create chaos in your life. Okay. So, kind of two different sides of the coin, but I do, and again, I think that's part of this energy that I was feeling is that there's confliction, right? Between aspects of yourself, but also the bigger picture of why this is happening. And it's happening to create resiliency within you, and tenacity, I heard, an inner strength to keep pushing past it, past these limitations, because even though they're perceived as self-limiting beliefs or self-limiting um, persuasions within yourself, these are coming from an energy that is beyond you. Okay. And so it's important to keep that bigger picture in mind, that it may feel as though It's coming directly from parts of you. And there may be parts of you, yes, that you do need to address in order to align. And that's how you overcome these chaos energies, these projections, the spell work, right? Anything being sent your way that's negative, that people are trying to prevent you from getting on your path and staying on your path and elevating. Um, Understand that when you take responsibility for that, even though it's coming from an outside source, you have the power to take responsibility for that and to ensure that what it is that you're doing blocks that, right? And that's what this is about, this detoxing, right? That's exactly what it's about. It's about keeping your energetic protection at an all-time high so that this energy cannot penetrate it. And every time again that you feel as though you're dipping or you're slipping back or suddenly you've changed, that's that energy trying to penetrate your shield. And yeah, it will find cracks, but that illuminates you to the parts of your being or your shadow or the mechanisms in which you've developed in your ego to protect your inner child. That will reveal which aspects of you need to be addressed and worked on then. So it all works together. And even chaos has order to it, right? The chaos theory. Even chaos has an order to it, and there is a reason for it existing in your life. And it may feel disruptive, it may feel unsettling when it comes in, but it is there to teach you how to protect yourself, how to put up stronger boundaries, how to ensure your boundaries. And this doesn't just have to be energetically. I just heard that for some of you, this could be physically still, okay? Because we're all on different timelines and different parts of our journey. So some of you may actually have somebody in your life physically that you're developing stronger or firmer boundaries with, or that is the need, okay? So yeah, take it as it fits in your story, but this is the message that is coming through. Okay. So I really understand why there is that, like, these two, it feels like conflicting energies, like duality in a sense, but duality isn't actually a real thing. When you get far enough on your spiritual path, you start to understand that duality is another construct of um, the human mind, right? That we create in order to understand each other and the world. Um, but I digress. But yeah, it feels as though this is a dualistic type of nature, and maybe, oh, okay, yeah. Maybe that's part of the message I was going to say, and it is that what you're battling with is possibly the illusion of duality existing. Because as human beings, that's what we experience throughout our lives is duality, black and white, conflicting values and beliefs and experiences and information. And so maybe for some of you who are ready for this message, what you're really coming up against is the illusion of duality itself, and that you are needing to break this concept, this belief, this idea, or the structure within you that duality exists. And it's time to break through that facade and allow that to dissolve um, through reconnecting with your highest self to understand the broader picture on this. And you may, for those of you who are more advanced on your path, I'm hearing that you may want to ask your spirit team, your holy ancestors, to connect you with your own Akashic records. And that might be for some of you where you're at, that you need to do that in order to illuminate the broader scope and understanding of existence. not just your existence, but existence to break past this illusion of duality so that you can move beyond it. And the other thing I heard is that your your connectivity, your connection with your spirit team, with the divine, with your intuition, it will come through as soon as you slow down enough and cleanse this energy out. But as soon as you take the time to slow down and intentionally connect with your spirit team, okay, that could look a lot of ways for a lot of you. It could be meditation, it could be, practicing opening up your third eye or um, different techniques to access your spiritual gifts and abilities or time to reflect, right? That is also another way of connecting. Or it could be that you sit down to do something creative, which puts you in a channeling state, or automatic writing. There's a lot of different ways that you can use to connect with your higher self or with your spirit team, but it will come through, and the next steps and the clarity and all of the things that you've been asking for, as soon as you address this cactus in the room. That's what I've just heard. That's awesome. As soon as you address the pokey, thorny thing in the room and you allow your guard to come down so that your visions or your ability, your energy can be free to connect, right? Because it's not just about your envisions, your manifestations, what you're creating. It has to work fluidly with your intuition in order for it to all occur, to unfold, which means that you have to drop and stop fighting and creating resistance to this information coming through. And impatience or being guarded or waiting for the next shoe to drop or worry or doubt can cause these walls to come up, which would then block you from feeling connected to your spirit team. I forgot to grab my water, so give me a second here. Okay, so I also just heard that the illusion of not knowing is self-made. So that may be for somebody out there, you needed to hear that. So that is a message that the obstacles that you're feeling are existing in your mind or your life, you're creating. And so be aware of that, that in itself is an illusion, right? That you don't know. And you're being asked to trust yourself and trust that once you take this time, pardon me, hold on one sec. Okay, that's better. Once you take this time to connect in with yourself and you make this a part of your routine, then you're going to establish or find that it's going to be much easier for you to connect with spirit, with your spirit team, with the angels, with your higher self, with your intuition. But they want you to integrate this as part of your daily practice. So whether it is a little bit of time before bed or when you first wake up or on your break at work, maybe your lunch break, you do some journaling or you sit in your car and you commence conversation or union with your spirit team, whatever it is and whenever you can fit it in. But they want you to integrate this as part of your daily activities to at least give yourself enough time to unwind without any other burdens of the 3D, or any distractions or anything like that coming through to keep you from connecting, right? So this is a practice. And it's really important for you to be able to receive these next steps to actually have this alignment set up as a part of your daily practice. Okay. All right. Which deck would you like me to go to now? I heard changes and I just got goosebumps. Woo! Okay, I'm also going to name these numbers here. They may be of relevance to you. They might be your age. They might be special dates. Well, one of them at least, or years, or might be important for you or related to somebody that you know. So we've got 29, 39, and 32. And if they don't resonate with you, it doesn't mean it's not your message. It just means that for whoever those do resonate for, maybe you've been asking for additional confirmation. Okay, I didn't even get a chance to ask questions with any of these. So Spirit's just going along guiding us. We have self-employment here. Okay, so some of you might have been asking, should I go get a job? Or should I continue on this path of self-employment, or should I take action on being self-employed? Or, there's been a decision here that maybe this is also to do with this confusion in your mind, not sure which step to take next, not sure whether you should be, like for those of you who are already in a job, and you haven't started a business yet, then I'm hearing don't just jump ship into self-employment, but begin the process of deciding what you want to do, figuring out the details, figuring out a plan, maybe taking some actionable steps into that and start moving in that direction. For others of you, maybe you've been wondering or questioning whether you should be, again, going to work, or maybe some of you don't have a job and you've been wondering whether you should go get a job or if you should, start up your own business. Or for some of you, I also just heard you have started up your own business and you're wondering whether or not you should just stay self-employed. Um, yeah, okay. Okay, thank you, Spirit. Yeah, so for those of you who already have a business, I'm hearing that maybe you're feeling as though you're struggling, maybe you're not receiving enough income or any income, maybe it hasn't gone as planned, or maybe it's taken way longer than you planned. But I'm hearing to continue down this road because it will work out, but you have to also carry that belief. Okay. So for those of you who are in transition, that was the message that it's time for you to take actionable steps in this direction, but don't forsake the work that you currently have because it will take some time to establish it. For those of you who are already self-employed and you've been waiting to see some results, or maybe to feel liberated in some capacity, um, I'm also hearing that you should be examining your beliefs around this. Maybe there is some self-sabotaging or self-limiting beliefs that are obscuring the energy from actually matching what you want to happen. And perhaps for some of you, you've been putting up some boundaries. No, not boundaries. Oh, interesting. Okay. For some of you, your boundaries are interfering with this, right? So for some of you, you're overprotective of certain aspects of life, and you need to let that down a little bit. Not necessarily with people, definitely not with people who have hurt you or negative people who come into your life, but with spirit and energetically, for the most part, you can't, right? Obviously, with certain people, you need to protect yourself, but you don't need to hold that boundary or those walls up the whole time because this is affecting you. For the other people who are resonating with already being self-employed, there is some sort of strengthening of your resolve in your faith, in your manifesting abilities. There may be some doubt there. I'm also hearing that for some of you, this ties to, again, your past experiences that you've had. And so there's a need to let go of the past and allow yourself to understand that you've already stepped through um, some sort of doorway. You've stepped through a door. You've already completed a chapter. And so with that, the energy has changed, but perhaps you haven't really noticed it. And so you're eager for something to change, but perhaps it's more so that you're holding these hopes, but not seeing any results yet. And so because you're not seeing results yet, you might be feeling as though nothing is working. And spirit's coming through to say, hey, no, 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 stuff's working, but you have to hold your vibration. You have to hold that strength. You have to hold your faith that it's all going to work out. And every time that it's, trying to tell you the opposite, then you need to catch yourself. Nobody's going to come and do that for you, right? You have to be the one to take control of that. And so it's just a matter of tweaking a few things for some of you. Others of you, this energy is being learned, and this is the path that you're going towards, and understand that this will be a part of your lesson going forward, right? For those of you who do not resonate with this being self-employed, then don't try and force it to fit. This is a specific message for certain people, I've heard, so don't take it on as your own. What else would you like the collective to know, I suppose? Since I'm not really going to be asking specific questions before cards just fly out. Oh, I just heard some of you have been questioning yourself. Yeah, okay. Some of you have been questioning yourself and doubting yourself, which is causing blocks to your connectivity, to the next steps, to direction, to the energy of receiving or abundance. It's going to be different for all of you. However, all of that might fit for some of you. But this, I just lost that. What were we saying here, Spirit? Oh, yeah. So some of you have been doubting yourself, which is placing limitations on what you can accomplish. And again, these limitations may be coming from outside of you. They may be projections because somebody else or people don't want you to elevate or succeed in this journey because they weren't able to do it. And because they weren't able to pursue their own passions, pursue their own authentic selves, to pursue their own joy in the world, they don't want you to either. So that is something to consider going forward, that anytime that you're feeling this way, ask yourself, is this my energy, or is this a projection from somebody else who does not want me to succeed? And if it's your own limitations, if it's your own self-doubt, then you need to address that. If you feel as though that's not really coming from within, like if you've done all of that work and it's not really coming from you, then it's definitely coming from others. But even when it comes from others, it's happening for you so that you can see those parts of you that are still wounded, that need help. See those parts of your inner child that need to be healed, in essence, that need to be worked with, that need to be heard and understood and loved regardless. And so that you can overcome those parts of you, right? So for some of you, this is self-limiting beliefs, and that's affecting your ability to trust yourself and trust maybe even your intuition. I just heard trusting your intuition and what you're hearing or receiving as insights or messages. Because again, you might suddenly have way more information coming through, or possibilities or choices, and that could confuse you or can cause confusion. Or you may have energies or people coming into your life, or circumstances or situations that are trying to test you and test your faith. which can also cause confusion, right? It can confuse you if you're seeing the opposite of what you're trying to create happen. And that's the broader message, is that if you're seeing the opposite, then that is actually a sign that it is working. Because with every manifestation, with every level up, you're going to see um, things going in the opposite direction, which will come up as challenges or difficulties or struggle, but it's only there to test your resolve and to give you an opportunity to face face off, I heard. Okay, so maybe somebody plays hockey out there. I'm not too sure, but to go face to face, head to head, toe to toe with whatever that is within you, which eliminates access to that energy outside of you. Okay, so if you have some self-doubt around your own business or about your own ability to be self-employed or about the direction or what you want to be, what you want to do with that, or blocks regarding fair transactions or reciprocity, anything to do with that, this is what it has to do with, okay? Is there another card that you would like to share from the collective from here? No? Move on. Moving on up. I don't know if my microphone cut that out, but it does cut out loud noises. So I can't really sing and channel. Do you want this deck? Okay. All right, what's next? I don't think I'm going to really ask questions. I'm just going to see what's next. What do they want to tell you? Okay, there's three cards here. Do you want them all? Top and middle? Okay. Yeah, okay. Talk to the moon, communicate. Oh, I've got to make sure there's no nudity on that. Okay. And then we have moon goddess, higher power. Yeah. The immediate messages were coming through of so there's definitely like connection trying to come through here, communication, next steps, guidance. They are definitely trying to align you with clearer access to these things because you've already received some spiritual upgrade, which would allow you to receive something. So, at different stages of your spiritual development and growth and maturity, you'll receive more and more and more access to each of your gifts and abilities, or you might even receive new gifts and abilities. And so, what I'm getting here from spirit is that they're like they've already aligned these things within you, but it's an energetic and emotional thing that you need to resolve within yourself, mental states as well. Um, and you need to protect. Oh, okay. You need to be very protective of your, how would you like me to word that, spirit? I have like it's like feelings and visions, but I'm not sure how to communicate that. You need to protect your connection to spirit. So that time as well that you spend with spirit needs to be sacred. I need to look at it as sacred. It's not something that you just pull out at a party, right? Or on demand because somebody asks you to. So, for somebody in the collective, you need to understand that your connection to spirit is a divine, sacred gift that spirit has given you. And some boundaries around that need to be established. And I don't know who that's for, but that message came out. But regardless, for all, I'm told, the reason why they want you to take time every day for this and to create some sort of um, almost like a ceremony. Like if you're when you sit down to pray, you know, or when you sit down to commune with the earth, because we're all coming from different backgrounds and what we do and what our gifts are, or with nature or with your ancestors. They want you to look at it as like ceremony, that it is sacred. That when you go into that space, maybe you do it in a certain space every day, the same space, the same kind of ritual leading up to it. Maybe you light a candle and some incense, or maybe you put on soft music and dim the lights, or you know what I mean? They want you to create some sort of sacred ritual around it because it is sacred. And the more that you understand your own divinity and your own sacredness, the clearer that channel becomes, the clearer your access to the divine becomes. And the more aligned your higher self and the higher powers that be can step in on your behalf to work things out for you, or to take your burdens away, or to guide you, or to help you get aligned with what it is that you want to create. But it starts with a level of understanding that sacredness. And then you also need to figure out, once you gain this clarity once more, what it is that you want, and communicate that with Source, with God, with the divine, whomever you call your creator or relate to, with Gaia. You need to communicate what you truly want, because all of this confusion, all of this confliction, all of this duality, whatever it is that is affecting you at this time, it gets you out of an alignment with what you're creating, because now you're looking at other options, and your energy, if not focused, so maybe you're doing too many things at one time. Maybe you want to do more than one thing at a time. And I'm being told that your focus needs to be on one thing only right now, one business, one group, one plan, right? One focus of intention. And then this helps to communicate, not only like you verbally that you need to communicate, but this helps to communicate your energy and your intention of your energy to the divine, to the universe, to source. Because part of it, yes, our words manifest. We need to speak into existence what it is that we truly want. But unless we're clear with our energy and our intention, that's never going to come to fruition. There's always going to be some sort of wall or block there, preventing it from fully actualizing. And so, communication with the higher beings and the powers that be is not simply a task that you do verbally. It's aligning your mental state, your emotional state, as well as your verbal communication to all reflect the same thing. So, eliminating the confusion, creating sacred union, sacred time with your higher self, with yourself, with the divine, because as soon as you're working divinely with yourself, you're working divinely with your whole spirit team, with God. And as soon as you create sacred space for that to happen, you can get clear on what it is that you're driving your energy to, what you really want, what not really focusing. I mean, you can have an idea of what the outcome should be, but don't focus all of your time and attention on the outcome specifically, or on the how. because they want to guide you step by step on how to achieve those results, but it may require you to let go of certain aspects of yourself, certain mechanisms of protection, certain negative beliefs, maybe certain people or energies, or you know what I mean? There can be a lot of different things that hold us back from alignment with our highest passion, with our highest truth, with our highest selves, right? And so they're really wanting you to understand that it is not simply a matter of aligning those things and understanding, gaining clarity, but to follow through with the steps and the guidance they give you. Trust that if you receive guidance in the form of what step to take next, or an inspiration or an idea, they want you to take action on that, but with the right intention. That's really, really, really emphasized. It's super important, they're saying, because it's your intention that will manifest it or not manifest it, point blank. And that's some more of that coming up against, that dualistic kind of feeling is that um, if you are manifesting it for reasons of material gain or earthly pleasures, um, pleasures of the flesh, right? And not to say that they're all wrong, right? You still need money to survive and to live, well. You need a certain amount of, access to things, which is fine. They're not saying that you shouldn't want those things, but if it is your main focus, then that's an issue. Then you'll create more lack. If it is, if it is because you want to enlighten the world, or you want to help the world, or you want to heal people, or you want to uplift the world, and you set that as your intention for whatever it is you're trying to create here. This it may not even just be a self-employment business, a business that you're creating. This could be just any creation to get you in a better position from where you currently are. Okay? I just heard that. So, whatever it is that you're wanting to create it from the place that is going to benefit you through what you can give back to the world. And it will come. Everything else materially will just naturally come. And that doesn't mean that you can't have goals, and, like financial freedom would be one of those goals if that's your goal, right? Or I don't know where they were going with that, but regardless of what it is, they want you to know that all of that will be fulfilled. But it is your specific intentions behind why you are creating something to begin with, and how that's not only going to affect you, but the rest of the world. And it can be, like at the beginning of your journey, what you don't realize is that even you leaving toxic people, places, or situations helps the world. And you just making that decision is a manifestation that helps to elevate the whole world. Because not only are you learning lessons for yourself and maturing spiritually, emotionally, mentally, but you are helping those who were previously in your life to learn lessons for themselves. And when you do these things, you also uplift the collective, and you are forging the path for others to come after you to have an easier journey to do it, you know? So it doesn't matter if you're at this level where you are now trying to create your own business that is spiritually and spiritually aligned and heart-centered, heart-focused, or if you're just leaving a relationship or a dynamic or a job that is toxic. No matter where you are, understand that this is all a part of these manifestations, and this is all a part of um, the betterment of humanity. And that's what they want you to look at. Regardless of where you're at, understand that what it is that you're doing it out of love. No matter what decision you are making, make it for the highest good of all. And by taking care of you, by loving you, by putting you first, taking care of your needs, and that's not to say don't take care of your children's needs or your family if you have one or your pets, but ensuring that your cup is filled, that helps everybody. And that's kind of this concept they want you to look at going forward into every decision is how does this fill my own cup or how is it spiritually or emotionally rewarding for me? And then how does that overflow uplift humanity? That might be another way of looking at it. But this is one of the ways in which you're going to communicate this message of what you want, what you truly desire to source, to the universe, to God, to your higher self, so that this can get aligned for you. Because there's something out of whack here. And it could be perception, it could be many of the things we've already spoken about, or it could be all of them. And it needs to be aligned for this to come through. All right, so we are at 58 minutes. I barely pulled any cards today. Oh, hold on. Pressure. What is it that you want to say? Okay, we are not done, I just heard. They want me to pull a few more cards, so we're going to go on with the message. Which deck would you like me to pull from? I just heard you're doing a fine job. Keep listening and be patient. Be patient with yourself because this connection to your higher self, to the higher beings, um, it takes time to create a connection. And again, that comes down to what we were talking about is treating it as sacred. It takes time to establish roots, I just heard. And so no matter where you're starting with this or what issue you're having difficulty with in creating, be very patient with yourself. I'm hearing that for some of you, your inner child may be very sensitive at this time, maybe coming forward with a message. Listen to each word that is spoken. So if you receive, say, like a negative thought or a negative belief, jot it down and have a look at them through at the end of the day, what you've written down. Anytime that you have the chance to write something down, write it down. You pay it no mind until the end of your day when you have time to enter this sacred space with yourself, where you can then look at what your thoughts were. And you'll start to see that these are the parts of your inner child that are crying out for help. And they're also limiting you in some capacity. And then you can go in one by one or address them all simultaneously and counteract the beliefs or allow your inner child to speak up about it or console your inner child or comfort them, whatever it is that you're needing or that your inner child is needing. But that's going to be very important that you're reflecting on the thoughts that just randomly come into your head. Some would call those intrusive thoughts. But when you understand the mind does not stop thinking. It's always going, and your thoughts are as natural as breathing, but you do have the power to change your thoughts, to persuade the direction in which your thoughts go. Even the unconscious subliminal messaging that you're receiving on a daily basis can be changed, but you first have to become aware of it. I think that came up in the last message too. So that's a little bit redundant here. All right, where would you like me to go here, Spirit? These ones? Okay. All right, heart. All right. Sun's rays. Oh, ooh, I just got goosebumps. Okay, I will follow through. Okay, so Spirit's coming through to say that it is okay. It is okay, and you are safe now to allow the sun to shine on that heart of yours, to allow light to open your heart up, to activate it for some of you. I mean, we go through many heart activations, but it seems as though that we're going through one right now, which is why you might feel a little more emotional, or confused, or, but this is to do with your heart. And it's safe. And this is really to do with your inner child. It is safe to allow yourself this time to connect with your inner child and your heart, and to allow love and light to activate your heart. And sometimes that can feel like it cannot feel good. We'll put it that way. It could feel devastating. It could feel like you're being shredded to pieces in emotions, and you might be wondering what's going on. So, for some of you, you're going through a heart activation, and it does not feel as nice as it sounds. It can feel pretty messy. It can be pretty messy, but it's needed for you to create this connection as well, because there's something about the walls or the guard that you have up that are preventing your heart from opening and limit you in the form of doubt. And again, this is coming from a mechanism from childhood, right? Which is why it's super important for you to be working with your inner child, because at the heart of it, your inner child just wants the best for you, but your ego learned how to protect your inner child from ever getting hurt or being vulnerable. And so this entering into communion with your higher self, with spirit, with God, with the universe, that is your time to allow your inner child to safely come forward. Your inner child is yearning, is at this time coming forward so that you can open your heart to receive this guidance, this love. And it takes connection, right? And so this sacred time is not just about connecting with your intuition. It's about connecting with your inner child and comforting that inner child, allowing them, making them feel safe enough to come forward with the messages. Oh, okay, Spirit. With the messages to help you clear this block, because it's them now who has this message for you. That's what I was hearing. Your inner child has the next steps, but you have to create a safe space for your inner child to come through and work with you. And so that's why this concept of creating like this sacred time to commune with yourself, your higher self, the higher beings, to create this ritual almost around it. For that wasn't the word that I used. Can't recall what the word was, but neither here nor there. To create some sort of pattern around accessing this moment of sacred union with yourself, because it's your inner child who has the next steps to clear that block. And you need to bring in a level of comfort and safety. So maybe think back when you were little. What did you like? Like for me, I think of um, actually when I went through my biggest, I shouldn't say biggest, but my first biggest spiritual awakening. We used to have a big papasan couch, and it had a furry kind of fuzzy cushion on it. And I would crawl into that as though I was crawling into the womb, right? And I had fuzzy blankets and fuzzy different texture things, soft things. And while I was going through one of the most difficult dark nights of the soul, that was very nurturing for me. That was very comforting for my soul. So maybe you want to incorporate different things into your space. Maybe you carve out a little space in your bedroom or in your living room or somewhere where you can find some peace. And you incorporate different aspects that are going to be inviting for your inner child to come out. And it may not even just be um, comforting things, but I heard maybe you have pictures of toys that you always wanted to get on your wall to invite your inner child out. Or maybe you go to the thrift store, or if you're old enough, the antique store, or the collector store, and you buy a toy that you used to have and play with, and you just have it there. Like all of these symbols, all of these things allow you to gain access to your inner child because they're access points, right? They're memories. They're parts of your inner child that may have been suppressed if you didn't receive these things, or they're parts of your childhood memories that you actually enjoyed and that allows you access. But incorporating different aspects of your childhood, possibly the things that will allow you access or you intuitively feel will allow you access, as well as creating a safe space. Maybe you have fidgeting toys, which we never used to have as kids, at least my generation. You have things that a child would want to utilize when they're talking about difficult emotions or difficult experiences, and you bring these into your space. You have your favorite mug, or you have your favorite blanket, or you have soft textures, or you have um, candles or scents that relax you or that you really enjoy. But create an environment or space that's going to be very inviting for your inner child to come out and to connect, because this is a matter of healing some aspect of your heart. Okay? And it's vital right now that you take this time to create this space to connect with your inner child, because they're the ones trying to give you the next steps. Your higher self, your guides, your spirit team, God, source, of course they provide you with guidance. But right now, it's limiting beliefs or doubt based on past experiences that are preventing you from moving forward and creating or accessing or receiving whatever it is for you, this higher development, this next step. this clarity, this guidance, because you need to be in union with your inner child as well. And your inner child, maybe you've been working with your inner child a lot, but maybe you've taken a break, right? So maybe your inner child is feeling neglected. And for some of you, maybe you've never worked with your inner child, and your inner child is desperately crying for your attention and is trying to illuminate that some of these issues coming up are self-created because of the lack of connection or feeling of safety for your inner child to come out. Or maybe they're feeling abandoned by you. These are all things to consider in connecting with them, and how your inner child will react to limit you or prevent you or sabotage you or create blocks so that you can't achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve. First here, right? First, your inner child needs your attention before anything else needs your attention. You need to prioritize this, is what I'm hearing, in order to move forward. This has to be your priority. So I'm getting that the priorities need to be rearranged. What do you prioritize? Because if you don't prioritize your own health, your own mental well-being, your inner child, your own safety, if you don't protect and value all these aspects of yourself, then what you're trying to create is pointless because it starts here. And when you value yourself, when you protect yourself, when you take care of yourself and your connection to self, everything else gets communicated to the rest of the world, to the universe, that yeah, I am worth it. So allow me to receive now because I treat myself this way. And I don't mean to be stern, but this is what it is. This is what it's about. When you value yourself and your connection to yourself, and your connection is unshakable with yourself, then that is when that gets communicated to the universe and it all just happens. You don't even have to I mean, of course, you have to put energy into creating self-employment or creating, manifesting, but it happens effortlessly. That's what I'm hearing. Effortlessly. And that's what you want. You don't want to have to put so much work into creating something, and, you know, it should be effortlessly. And your inner child is the guide to that, the missing piece of the puzzle. So, he, she would like to, they, whatever pronoun you use, would like to guide you, but you have to be open to it and create this space for them, which is prioritizing yourself first. Because again, through your betterment, through your upliftment, through filling your own cup, that's how your intentions are communicated and how you uplift the rest of the world. Yeah, I think that's a great place to pretty much leave it off. So I'm going to get a few animal cards here. That's a beautiful message. Oof, I'm just covered with goosebumps right now. Woo! Thank you, Holy Spirit, for these beautiful messages and this guidance. I'm sure the collective really needed that. Oh, I don't even know when this happened. It must have been when I was shuffling, but there was a card that must have flipped when I was shuffling. So we have Visionary, Giraffe. Rise above earthly matters. Glide through life with grace. You are able to see the right path. Stand tall in all your self-worth and self-love with a big heart. Yeah, thanks for the confirmation, Spirit, on all the messages that we just received. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got patience, Hera. Create a place in nature's stillness and be renewed. Take time alone to find balance. Step confidently towards your purpose. Patience will bring you rewards. Another confirmation, right? Create a safe space for yourself and be patient. I did say that. Be patient with yourself. All right, then we have self-reliance. This is the snow leopard. Beautiful. You are strongly independent and often solitary. Integrity is important for your best outcome. Cloak yourself in it, cloak yourself with invisibility and walk with the shamans. Use your intuition and let your life unfold in silent perfection. I guess that's why I channeled into shamans today. Um, connecting with Earth and Gaia and Earth spirits. Somebody here watching is definitely carrying that vibration. You know who you are. All right. And do you want one more? No. Okay. Okay. Is there something else you'd like me to pull? Okay. I'm going to get a few angel number messages and then a crystal and an affirmation. Get two angel number messages, please, Holy Spirit. That one. Okay. All right. So we've got 2222, feminine forces, relationships, balance, prosperity, efficiency, patience, humility. You can do everything by yourself, but life is to be shared. Partner up with the right spirit and you'll become a force. Honor commitments and people around you. Don't judge. Listen. Ah. Okay, so there is this element of energy coming through that of course, we all have feminine energy and masculine energy. But this emotional part of yourself or your inner child does require a feminine touch. So it requires you to, whether you are a man or a woman, to dig into that softer side of yourself, right? Your intuition is also feminine energy, but it does require you in order to access. That's probably why I was channeling like bringing in softness to the room or something that creates a sense of safety, right? Tapping into the feminine energy allows you to tap into the elements of earth, right? Maybe this is a shaman ancestor coming through for some of you, allowing you to access that balance, to access patience. Patience has come up 3 times now in this reading, okay? 3 times. When I channeled it here and in this card. So maybe this is an ancestor coming through for some of you, allowing you to harness this energy, these abilities. These are gifts in themselves, right? They're divine virtues, so that you can be patient with connecting with your inner child. Because if they don't feel safe or they feel like you've abandoned them, then you cannot have a strong and secure connection with them. They're going to be fearful or avoidant, right? Or both. And so it'll create blocks in your connectivity with them. And it'll create confusion in your mind and going back and forth between like indecision, right? So it's definitely important to tap into these energies of not only earth energy, but perhaps this shaman energy, this ability to move through all different planes of existence and energy forms and elements, and to tap into certain aspects of self dependent on what is required for of you at that time. And so right now it is required for you to tap into this softer energy. And the energy of earth, the spirit who's guarding earth, is a feminine energy as well, who's been protecting earth. That would be Gaia. So maybe connecting in with Gaia's energy, connecting in with this shamanic energy, with the energy of water, love, light, softness, femininity, to allow you to access these specific parts of yourself that have been in the shadow for a long time, or suppressed, or hidden, or not allowed to come forward, right? Yeah. And also there is a message here, and for some reason I'm getting that it might connect with um, somebody in the physical realm. So maybe you have a connection with an actual shaman. Maybe you haven't met this person before. Maybe there's something coming forward that um, may not even just be shaman energy. This could be just like your soul tribe. This could be platonic or romantic. There may be somebody coming into your life, or that is currently in your life, that when you partner up with these people or this person, it's going to change and elevate your life in different ways, because they're going to be able to show you new avenues in which we're not, like new possibilities for growth, which were not available to you before. Okay. So being selective as to who you are partnering with, or giving your time and attention to, is going to be very important, because it does also show the universe what you value. And if you don't give your time and attention to things that you do not value in your life, again, that is a clear communication to the universe that you're ready for something higher, a higher level commitment. And that doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic commitment. This could just be a part of your soul tribe, or maybe getting a job at a place where they see you, where they recognize your gifts, your talents, and your abilities, your strengths, where they are a heart aligned company, right? Soul aligned company, heart centered. Whatever this is, it's just a reminder to be selective as to who you allow into your energy, and to ensure that you're not settling for less than you deserve. So that might go back to whomever was thinking about whether they should go get a job or stay at a job, or, like, don't settle for less. Keep keep growing, and keep telling the universe, by aligning with the frequency and the desires that you have for your specific alignment, by refusing and not settling, refusing to settle for less than you deserve. That's in people, places, situations, experiences, right? Because you're ready for something higher. Okay, then we have one more number here. We have angel number 8888. Ooh. All right. Personal power. Material and spiritual abundance, wealth, resources, force, balance, confidence, material gain, epic romance. Ooh. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So it may not be romance. Take it with a grain of salt if that's not what you want. Don't worry about it. I'm not forcing any message upon you. You just take it as it fits with your story. All that is good and pleasant in your life will multiply. Angels are sending the number to reassure you of the prosperity and well being ahead. Your surroundings will treat you with admiration and respect. Use it for the greater good. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. It's all about your alignment, and your alignment energetically gets determined by the choices that you make, and what you refuse to accept in your life any longer, and what you allow into your life, right? So keep that in mind. It's a balance. And if you say no to that chaos energy, you say no to people's projections, and you ensure that you are always practicing your energetic, emotional, and spiritual and physical hygiene, right? Putting emphasis on valuing yourself, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, valuing your connection to your inner child, valuing their input, I just heard, because for some of you, you weren't heard as children. You were not seen or heard. Okay. And maybe that's what's trying to come through, is that they need to be heard now. You need to offer them that sense of security so that you can empower yourself to fully be able to communicate your authentic truth. So there's a block here for some of you that is in relation to not being heard, which prevents you from feeling empowered when you speak to other people, which may have you shrinking or appeasing other people, just to get along, go along to get along. That's what I just heard. So this is the next step for some of you, is reconnecting with your inner child so that you can um, really embody this energy of abundance. All right, we're getting a little long here, so we'll get one of these crystal cards. That one? Okay. Ooh, the seeing eye. Ooh, I love that one. That's perfect for this. Septarian. Septarian. Check that out. It looks like an eye. I've got to get some of these crystals. I love crystals. So the seeing eye. Check out this card or this crystal online. You could do a little Google search, see if it applies to you. But generally, I like to pull crystals that will help you navigate situations. Maybe it is with regards to your connection to your inner child. It'll strengthen that, I imagine. And I believe this will also help strengthen your connection to, oh, bug. Wow, I'm getting really good at catching them in the air. Strengthen your connection to the divine as well. Okay. So, Septarian. Septarian. If you'd like to Google that. Okay, and I'm going to get two of these affirmations to close off this message. That one, okay. And one more, please, Holy Spirit, for this beautiful collective. Yeah, okay. Okay, find a deeper meaning and personal growth amid the discomfort. Yes. Find a deeper meaning and personal growth amid the discomfort. So again, this situation is happening for you, right? It's so that you go deeper. It's like an invite to go deeper, to follow that voice, to follow that inkling, to follow that pain, right? Because your inner child is the one sending those signals, sending those urges, or sending the ping to want to go play. Let me out, right? Oh, I got two here. Okay. True healing occurs when I give myself permission to feel whatever feelings live below the triggers. Yeah, feel it. Let it come out. You're safe. So long as you create safety for yourself, you are safe. Your inner child feels safe. And that safety comes also from you communicating to other people what you're not going to tolerate. Whether you have to verbalize that, energetically do it, have boundaries, say no to opportunities, say no to people, whatever it is, that's how you create that safety. My outer experiences are a reflection of my internal condition. Yeah, absolutely. Something that we talk about a lot, right? So if you're getting stuck somewhere, Then you have to see where that is, like within yourself, taking responsibility, even if there's energies being projected onto you by other people that are slowing it down for you or making it more difficult or creating obstacles or challenges. You can still take responsibility for those parts of you that are um, still, I guess, where their wounds still exist, that allow that energy to penetrate through your shield. And this is a matter of definitely working with your heart, working with stored trauma or grief, working with your inner child. And so you can't expect your outward manifestation to show up in the way that your mind thinks it will if your inward manifestation says something totally different. If your feelings and your what you're carrying around within you still reverberates at this frequency. All right, so that is the message. I hope that you got some benefit from this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I do appreciate that. That does help my algorithm out. Feel free to leave a message if you like. If you're new here, join our beautiful Vibe Tribe. Our collective here is really amazing. We would love to have you here. And for all my returning subscribers, I'm so blessed to have you in my life every day, that you show up and I show up. I love this reciprocation of energy. It does bring me a lot of joy to bring these messages to you each time I sit down to do them. So thank you for being here and thank you for returning. I love you all so much. I will see you in the next message. Bye for now.